and welcome to the UGO podcast. That's right, Unapologists Geek Out, and we are geeking out about something special today. It's Disney, it's Final Fantasy, it's everything you love, it's King-Dunb Hearts. Oh my goodness, Travis, I am so excited. That's Travis over there, the god of the pod, King-Dunb Hearts fan himself. I am, of course, Nick, the Merc with the mic, and we brought on a special guest. When we talking about the Disney and the Final Fantasy, we always got to talk to Ed, I guess? No, wait.
It's actually not used to the right line, but all right.
Ed's the anime guy, but apparently he's also a King-Dunb Hearts fan, too. Ed, say hi.
Hi.
That's Otabro Ed over there. Ed, it's been a while. What's going on, buddy?
It has.
So, Ed, as you know, we are going to be talking about King-Dunb Hearts 3. You are a King-Dunb Hearts fan, I assume.
Yeah, I played most of the franchise. There's only, I believe, 2 or 3 I did not play, but
out of like
definitely
15?
Which one?
I said like out of 15.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Oh god, I love the franchise, but it's a mess.
Well, this is the segment of the show where we're just going to be talking about what we're geeking out about unapologetically this week. So, Travis, you got anything you're unapologetic about this week?
Nothing particular. I will mention, though, I got a funny email this morning, because it is National Pizza Day.
Pizza Day!
Ooh, we should get pizza. And I got an actual email from Funimation saying, hey, since it's National Pizza Day, you should watch these slice of life animes. I'm like, okay, kitschy and corny. But let's see what you got. Very first thing, Attack on Titan.
Slice of life.
I don't
Hold
think...
on.
That's not the slice we're talking about, guys. That's not usually how it goes.
Is it the, like, school parody?
No, it was just the original show. Yeah.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, it was the very first thing.
So relaxing. Just this, the tale we can all relate to.
Yeah. I mean, it has some slicing in it.
That's funny. Speaking of anime, of course, Otabro Ed was talking a little bit off mic about a new anime he's watching. What are you watching, Ed?
Okay, so I'm watching a lot, but the one that I just finished watching that is, so spicy, is Domestic Girlfriend. I'm truly enjoying it this season so far. Cool.
So what is this about here, Domestic Girlfriend?
Okay, so our main character is this high school kid who is in love with his teacher. And knowing that that's not going to work, he tries to get over it. And he meets this girl at this group date who takes him away and says, look, I'm a virgin, you're a virgin, let's just bang to get it over with, just to say we did it for her own reason. And he's like, sure, this will help me get over my teacher. So they do it.
Like you do.
And then they split. They shouldn't see each other ever again. Turns out his dad is going to marry her mom. And it turns out her sister is the teacher. So now they're all living together as one happy family.
What? Okay.
And with a premise like that, you would think it would take an easy nosedive to just, like, be in a hentai. Mm-hmm. But it's not. Even that initial coitus wasn't truly, like, exploited. It was more of a plot device than the whole show. And the show is so spicy. Like, it's so scandalous. Like, it is. Because if that wasn't, like, awkward enough, like, the teacher has the secret boyfriend that she's having issues with, and it turns out she's having an affair with a married man, and how they, like, go about finding that and, like, trying to put a stop to it, because the new siblings who once boned, like, both want her to, like, break up with the guy for their own personal reasons. And so they're, like, trying, like, detective and stalker for a week to try and find the guy to tell him, stop it. Mm-hmm. So, and they don't find them, and after a week of almost giving up, they just walk in on them at a cafe, and they have the most awkwardest of, like, conversations that the staff is like, they're trying to sell tickets to people on the show. It's like, come see this lover's core of an affair gone wrong. And then it gets even more spicy and just, so many dramatic things.
That sounds like a great episode of Days of Our Lives. I'm just...
Yeah, it could be Anime Days of Our Lives, but it's good. It's so good. I'm left with like clutching my pearls, and occasionally I'll watch this at work and audibly whisper, "Oh, so spicy," with no shame, because
that's where you wear your best pearls, or at least where I wear my best pearls is at work. So
yes, they're not there, but like I'll go and try and clutch them. I'll clutch the air of when these scandalous things
they're
come
for clutching purposes,
right?
Indeed.
Well, we've been continuing to watch Reincarnated as a Slime. We did an episode about that earlier. Have you watched that one?
I'm all about Reincarnated as a Slime. I have my issues with it once they introduced the like Lolly Demon Lord, but she got better after an episode ish.
We're watching the dub, so
yeah.
Oh, okay. So you guys are not current. How far is the dub along?
We just did we defeated the Orc Lord.
Yep.
And then like there was the Forest Alliance that Rimuru is now in charge of.
Oh, so you're not that far behind. Yeah, she's gonna get introduced to you guys like in the next episode or two.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we've already seen that character in the opening like a couple times. So
yeah, you definitely have. She's okay. Like initial reaction, I did not like her, but she's okay.
Yeah. Well, Funimation has been, especially has been like really up on like dubbing those their show really fast. So you don't necessarily wait as long. Like My Hero Academia was like super fast.
Oh, dude, I give them so much credit for that.
Yeah.
Because it's allowing people who only watch dubs to stay current with shows, so they can talk to people who only watch subs, and they're bridging that gap between, oh, I'm watching this really cool anime, and then the sub people going, oh yeah, that was like months ago.
Right.
Have fun with that.
Like some of them I've like looked now where I'm like, oh, I really like this anime. Maybe I'll go watch the sub. How much further is it? 2 episodes? Oh, then I'm not gonna bother.
Oh, why bother? But yeah, we also what else we watched? Oh, right, we have
we watched You.
Yeah, we watched You, but I think we're going to do that for a Netflix and Kill. But boy, did I really thought that was an interesting show on Netflix.
I hear good things about that.
It's weird.
Man, it sure is weird. It takes you through a lot of emotions and stuff. Like it's quite the ride. I gotta admit it. Travis just watched his what was it the first time he watched Fast and the Furious, the first one, which was interesting since he's watched some of the later ones and says never watched some of the first ones before. So that was an interesting experiment to show him where it all started.
Man, I forgot about that franchise.
Well, I mean,
Nick loves them.
I love those movies. Speaking of which, yeah,
unironically, he loves them.
Yes, absolutely.
What about the streetcar muscle riding fantasy just drives your buttons?
Well, I think that the first
he gets off every single time they say family.
The first one is great because of how much of it is a unrepentant ripoff of Point Break. Like, there's even like a subplot like in both movies that revolves around tuna sandwiches, I think. So, which is so like it's so unrepentant. Too Fast, Too Furious, I used to not like until someone told me it's the greatest gay action film after Top Gun. And then I watched it again, and I'm like, yes, now I can enjoy this movie because of the unrequited love story between Tyrese and Brian. And then I never watched Tokyo Drift because I heard that one was awful. It's the only one I have never watched.
Amazing.
And then after that, they start to get get just more and more powers. Like Fast and Furious 5 is an Ocean's 11 movie with the Car Bros, and then by 6 and 7. It's just like Dude Bro Avengers, where they just straight up have superpowers. Like they Hulk like
do they tap into their inner enemy strength?
Yeah, and he just smashes a asphalt and destroys it at one point to defeat Jason Statham
with his bare hands.
No, he stomps. He does a Hulk stomp, and it destroys asphalt.
And it makes a crater.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds dope.
And if you think he's like parroting at this point in the spin-off movie they're coming out soon, Idris Elba plays a cyborg, so there.
Dude, we want to do a trailer talk about Hobbs and Shaw real quick. Have you seen the trailer for Hobbs and Shaw, Ed?
I have no idea what that is.
That's the spin-off with The Rock and Jason Statham's character from the Fast and the Furious franchise. they're now doing the Fast and the Furious presents for these other spin-off characters. This one's Hobbs and Shaw, and they have Idris Elba as the bad guy, and they straight up make him a supervillain. He comes up, he's like, I'm the next level of soldier. Super strong, super fast, bulletproof. They show him getting cyborg parts put in him. Because at this point, it's the only way you believe that he stands a chance against our good guys. That so obviously have car powers.
Yeah, we've had whole entire discussions on how they're actually liches, and their cars are just their phylacteries.
Their cars are the source of their powers. 7 is
a
whole
story. You guys can't see it, but my jaw is to the ground right now. I am just in shock and awe of how amazing and crazy this franchise has gotten. And I might go look at this because it sounds fantastic.
Dude, you gotta at least watch 7. 7 is so good. And watch Paul Walker's character through 7 because it's his last one, and he starts to learn to use his powers with less and less of a car. Like, soon he can do powers, like, do awesome feats on top of cars rather than in them, and then he'll do it with, like, just vehicles that aren't even cars, like, just barely have wheels on them, and then it all culminates to where Vin Diesel doesn't even need his car anymore. He's evolved past it, and he just has superpowers. Like,
that was not nitrous in those cars. It was some type of toxic chemical X.
Mm-hmm. Dude, The Rock he has a broken arm at one point in one of the movies, and he just flexes out of it once he needs to beat up somebody.
Yeah.
He just flexes. He's great. Just like, Daddy has to go to work. And he doesn't break it off. He flexes his arm, and the cast busts off because it knows better.
Oh my god, that's great. That's fantastic.
No, I love the Fast and Furious franchise. The only thing about Hobbs and Shaw is that I kind of hope that, I know they won't, but I really hope Hobbs and Shaw, like, at some point, like, can they kiss at the end? Just like a little bit? Just a little, like, cause the only thing about these movies is that they're so homoerotic.
Yeah,
like, just, like,
they're
it's
gonna
just
cock tease you, and, like, someone's, like, gonna have their head blown off, and it's just gonna land right beside the other person's, like, lip to lip. So it won't be an official kiss, but it's still super epic. Because it's a head.
And I realize, like, we've never had a gay character in Fast and the Furious, and that just sucks.
Well, we've never had an admitted gay character, let's put it that way.
Even watching the first one again, I'm like, oh man, all the homosexual overtones. Like, just, like, again, lifted out of Point Break, but still, like... but we can all dream.
Sounds like I might have some dreams tonight.
Ed's like, oh boy, The Rock and Jason Statham together. Who has not put some fan fiction about that? Am I right?
Oh my god.
Battle of the Balds. But yeah, what are we here to talk about again? We're not here to talk about Fast and the Furious. That's right. What are you talking about? Oh, right, Disney
King-Dunb
stuff.
Hearts.
King-Dunb Hearts. So, guys, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out after like so long of a hiatus. How long was it from just Kingdom Hearts 2 specifically?
14 years.
14 years.
Yep. Kingdom Hearts 2 is almost legal enough to drive.
Mm-hmm. So, but it hasn't been that long since the last Kingdom Hearts game, since they keep releasing stuff on the mobile devices. Like,
well, between Kingdom Hearts 1 and now, just talking like console games, there's been 7 games.
Mm-hmm. And they did do the re-releases in the packaging, like they
I counted
the
those
final mixes.
Yeah. 2.8,
2.85.
Mm-hmm. There's even a cute thing in this one in Kingdom Hearts 3 where it starts off as Kingdom Hearts 2.9 and then turns into Kingdom Hearts 3.
That was very tongue in cheek,
and it made me really mad. Mm-hmm. Like, it made me like, ha ha, we're so horrible at our naming and pretentious naming stuff, and now we're gonna make fun of ourselves, and it feels like, yeah, I don't think you get to do that.
See, at this point, like, I was so beaten down and broken, I already, like, developed Stockholm Syndrome, so I just wagged my finger and was like, oh, you! I guess I'll wait a little bit more.
I love it. It's just like, yeah, I just can do whatever it wants now, because I'm in it for the long haul.
I say that now, but there was a distinct point in this game where I realized I was slapped across by this game so many times in the face that I got mad with it.
I think I had a similar point. I had a similar experience to you, Ed, but we'll get to it. First,
we'll get into it. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I want to talk about, like, this is one of the first games me and Travis, like, we stayed up. It was actually a night of the polar vortex, and I actually was off of work, so I got to,
It was like negative 50 outside, not actually sarcastic.
So we got to play it as soon as it came out on the PlayStation Network. We waited until like midnight or whatever. Was it 11 o'clock? And just to start it. And by
the time I got through the 3 different recaps of the last couple of games, I was ready to go to bed.
Right. And we were playing the Hercules world. It's finally a world now. We're fighting all the other Titans. It's pretty epic. I'm like, you know what? I'm back into it. I'm back into Kingdom Hearts, and the gameplay is still pretty solid. It's mostly from a mixture of all the other games, like Kingdom Hearts 2 specifically, and then there's some stuff in there from Birth by Sleep, like
and Dream Drop Distance.
Yeah, and Dream Drop Distance with the
Don't forget Union Cross.
Yeah, what was it? Flow Motion that they were using. Yeah. And so, like, I was actually kind of into it. I'm like, yes, this feels right. The combat feels good again. And then, I even thought the first world, the Hercules world, was probably pretty good as far as Kingdom Hearts worlds are concerned.
It was short and sweet.
Mm-hmm. But, like, it had to, we were fighting the Titans. You had multiple stages. It was pretty epic. I liked it. And at first, I thought it was pretty cute that we're using the Disney rides attractions as attacks. Like, that was kind of funny.
There's only like one good one.
And then, like, at first I was like, oh, and then they're really just we're fighting with marketing now for their fucking amusement parks. That was interesting. And then, we had we recapped the story at least 3 times or something. Like in the first part of it,
and they try to explain it.
Mm-hmm. And so there wasn't. It's not like this game has like is there's some things I do like about it. Ed, do you have anything that you were struck as like, oh, this was good. This is return to Kingdom Hearts 4. Pressing my nostalgia buttons.
Hercules tutorial level was fun. It was good. Like, I didn't have any real complaints with it. Like you said, the getting into the controls was fun. It was a very decent tutorial level, because that's what Hercules was. It was a giant tutorial level.
Mm-hmm.
There was no Danny DeVito or fake Danny DeVito. There was no Phil Loctides.
Right.
Yeah.
And I understand that, because I believe the Japanese voice actor passed away, so they didn't give him lines for that reason, is what I heard. I don't really know if that was true or not, but that made me a little sour from the get-go. But it was fine. It was just a tutorial level. I didn't know any better. I was pleased with it.
You were young still.
I was still young. It was after all these years. It's finally home. It's fine.
So, yeah, like I suppose we should, since I'm done talking about anything I like.
Really,
Travis,
just from the tutorial level.
Travis, what did you enjoy about the return to form as well? Nothing. Okay, so
I think I froze. Reboot me. So
instead, let's talk about the previous Kingdom Hearts franchises. Like, so the reason I fell in love with Kingdom Hearts, at least 1 and 2, well, 1 specifically, since it was the thing that kind of started it off, was it was like this awesome idea of combining Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts together.
With Disney.
Disney. Yeah, sorry, it's Disney and Final Fantasy together. It's Reese's Peanut Butter Cup we never knew we wanted, and
someone just like, I want to make my fan fiction into a video game.
Well, there's all these, and then again, I'm replaying it now, and there's all this cool shit, like, the Disney villains have teamed up all together with this Illuminati group to help destroy other worlds. By the time you start that game, other worlds have already been completely destroyed. Mm-hmm. And you watch your world get destroyed, and there's like even the summons are strong hearts from previous worlds that are already destroyed. Which, like, you can summon Simba because his world got fucked up, but
who killed Bambi's world?
Yeah,
like, seriously,
world, that was.
I mean, technically, wouldn't Bambi's world be our world?
I don't know.
I don't know how a lot of it works. But then I'm like, oh man, that's kind of dark, but also for a kid, it was like, that's kind of awesome.
Well, it's like one of the first times you get to Traverse Town, like, you see people die from Heartless and become Heartless.
Yes! Seeing that one random townsperson die, turn into a Heartless, and it's just like, okay, now we gotta kill that.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, so that's, I mean, it was, and then the Kingdom Hearts 2, like, there was that, Rechain of Memories game in between, but it was, even if you didn't play that game, it was kind of like, it was a interesting mystery of, like, what happened to Sora? Why doesn't he have his memory or something, even if you started Kingdom Hearts 2? And even Kingdom Hearts 2, I'll admit, it starts to, like, change some story stuff that it doesn't feel like we need to change in order to just be complex. Because Square Enix is confused complexity with depth, and like there's no reason that Xemnas that Ansem turns out to be Xehanort, other than it being very confusing. Like just have it be Ansem the whole time. Like have Ansem be a bad guy. I don't understand why he can't just be a bad guy.
I think that's actually where Kingdom Hearts 3 broke with both of us when it started talking about time travel, and we're like, what?
Oh fuck.
Well, so how many of the various spin-off games did you guys play, or were you
I played every single thing except for Recoded.
So yeah, I played Birth by Sleep, Rechain of Memories, 35 what was it, over 2 days,
358 over 2 days.
Oh god, your naming, I hate you. Your naming sucks. And I think, did I play any of the other ones? I didn't play Recoded. I didn't play, there's a mobile game, I think.
Yeah,
Union Cross, and then Dream Drop Distance.
I didn't play Dream Drop Distance. Dream Drop Distance kind of made me, like, Travis says I didn't miss anything, but it feels like I missed something.
Yeah, except for I played it, and I'm still just as confused as you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the consensus for most people who have played everything. And just, did you guys watch the synopsis for Union Cross, or did you play the mobile game when it came out?
No.
I didn't do either. I didn't know is it important? Like,
well, there's child murder in it.
Whatever.
Cool. I guess it's important for this game because, like,
actually, it's very important for this game because the mobile game Union Cross is like the beginning of the first Keyblade Wars, and it's heavy lore, and pretty much it's what's gonna drive the franchise ahead now that the Ansem arc is over.
Oh, okay.
Well, if they were going to make it such an important part, they should probably make it an actual game.
Or put it on one of the re-releases or something.
Well, it's so important they gave it out for free for everyone on the mobile devices. And on 2.85, they give you an hour-long, cutscene movie of what you basically need to know.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm so confused. Anyway, I think that is my main problem with Kingdom Hearts 3 here, is that they decide to try and explain a lot, which I think is a big mistake, actually. I think that you should not explain anything. Because most of the Kingdom Hearts games, I think what I liked about Kingdom Hearts 1 is that everything was so vague, but everything felt big and important. But I didn't, you kind of knew what was going on, but yet it was still real, there's this dude named Ansem, you gotta find, Mickey, he's off doing something else, we're not exactly sure, the bad guys have teamed up into this, Illuminati group, we're not sure why, each one of them, but, it was cool. And
to me, personally, Kingdom Hearts feels, super betrayed by the backstep writing of, we weren't expecting this to get this popular. We need to make a grand story that we didn't really have fleshed out at the beginning. Right. And that's why it took so long for all the spin-offs to write story and lore. And it just hurts.
Yeah, and it's just a little too much of, we don't need to see the Clone Wars and the Star Wars universe. It's cool that some of that stuff is just stuff that happened before and is, cool backstory. I even like Kingdom Hearts 2 idea of introducing nobodies and what happens to a body without its heart. It's a whole new enemy. Even the nobodies have a goal of we want our hearts back, or we want to feel again, because we don't feel emotion, even though they totally do feel emotion.
Right.
But I I assume they mean souls. They want their souls back.
I think probably just like empathy more than anything.
Yeah, so they want to feel. They want to feel again, and that's cool because they're willing to destroy multiple worlds in order to feel again, in which they probably will feel super guilty about it. Kind of like a Spike from Buffy sort of thing. Sorry, go ahead, Ed.
I was gonna say it's all really confusing, especially because in Kingdom Hearts 3, like they drive in that if you believe you have a heart, you have a heart, which makes the nobody's plans kind of dumb.
Well,
because like you had a heart all along, you just had to believe in it.
And then but Kingdom Hearts 2 does get confusing, but overall, I'm like, it does make sense to me, and I feel for these characters. Like Axel, like when he dies in that game, I was actually like, this is actually a pretty big emotional moment for me.
Yeah, because Kingdom Hearts always works better emotionally than logically.
Like, yeah, it wouldn't be like you can't.
Because there's no logic in emotions at all.
There is not.
So like that's where Kingdom Hearts lies with me, is in the heart of the game, if you will. Like it's just like, forgive the pun, but that's exactly where it works, and even in like by 2 and some of the other games, it's always been that the Disney stuff has been kind of separate from the final, from the Kingdom Hearts lore stuff. But no more is that
Disney worlds were just like ways to move the Kingdom Hearts plot along.
Right, but nowhere is that more true than in Kingdom Hearts 3, where the Disney worlds, I don't know why we even went there. Like
they mean nothing.
They don't have anything, only to reintroduce us to the rechain of memory villains that no one gives a shit about.
No, I'm gonna stop you right there. Larxene is the best, and she deserved way more respect and screen time than she got. Okay, so watch your mouth.
Okay.
Second of all, yeah, I agree with that.
So I love that too, because even if we operate by the rules of this game and their writing, I still have problems with it, because the rechain of memory villains, they all show up like I don't remember any of their names, but they all get brought together by the Organization 13 for a cutscene that is like, you guys have a, what did they call it, a Keyblade origin story or something to do with the Keyblade lore.
Yeah.
Which is why they were important to the Organization 13. That does not pay off in any way.
Almost nothing they talk about this
You have to play
off.
the mobile game for that, Union Cross.
Okay, if you say the word Union Cross to me one more time during this review, Ed, I'm gonna fucking punch you through the Skype.
I'm gonna say it a lot more times. Because, Larxene and Marluxia, the guy with the pink hair, they were both original like Keyblade users, and I think they were Dandelions, which was a separate sect of Keyblade users from the ye olde time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and like I said, that child murder, it's heavily implied that it's either Marluxia's sister or Larxene's sister, but it's probably Larxene's sister because of Frozen. But yeah, so like they had Keyblades, and they have the Keyblade potential, so it's significant enough that, like I said, Union Cross is gonna, all probably information you're gonna need to know for the next upcoming games, if that's the story they're going with, which it seems like that is the story they're going with. You're gonna have to look up Union Cross.
That's giving me a really solid reason not to play any more games, honestly.
But man, I can't tell you how much that turns me off right now.
No, the mobile game, which is free, is important for lore and story.
I don't want to play a Kingdom Hearts mobile game.
Also, if it was so important, don't make it a mobile game.
Movie that they provided for you.
I kind of don't want to watch an hour-long cutscene either.
You already went through like a 20-hour cutscene.
I've already played Dirge of Cerberus. It's
that is fair, actually.
Like, this is... okay. So, yeah, there's the Frozen world, there's the Tangled world, Frozen...
Toy Story.
Like, Frozen has... Toy Story has, like...
Monsters, Inc.
Monsters, Inc. was actually one of my favorite ones, since it actually dealt with, like, after the story or whatever.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean was the most beautiful world.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, they put a lot of work into that
and
one.
And it sucks, because it's the worst
fucking boat battles.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking crabs.
It's like the most drawn out...
underwater swimming.
Yeah, it's the most drawn out level, and... It's boring. It's based off of one of the more boring Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
It's something that Disney should probably start distancing themselves from.
Also, it's one of the darker Kingdom Hearts worlds we've ever been to, since it deals with death and murder.
Dude, actual death. Like, they died. They killed Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, And
all the fucking Marines.
Yeah, when Sora has willingly helped out the pirates kill a bunch of the naval officers, and it's like, yeah, I think this worked better when it was the first one. Like, I also loved moments in Frozen where, what was it? It was Donald, Sora saw Olaf, and was like, oh, I think I saw a talking snowman, and Donald, the
giant talking duck,
the giant anthropomorphic duck that can sling magic, was like, snowman can't talk, which is so ridiculous. I know that's a weird place for my suspension of disbelief to go off to, but I'm like, what are you fucking talking about?
Dude, what do you mean you don't understand that? They think Sora's dumb as shit, so of course they don't believe anything he says. No matter what they've seen, no matter what logic they hold in their head, Sora's dumb. He's just making stuff up.
Also, I love that they change their forms to fit in with some of the worlds, but some of the other worlds, they don't change Donald and Goofy from being a giant dog and a fucking duck.
Well, that too, in the Frozen world, they're like, oh my god, I'm cold, can't you magically have some clothes? That's not how it works.
Is it not?
What? But
that's not how any of this works, no.
But why not? He can magic them gills so they can breathe underwater.
You've magicked me into a lion in the last game. A fucking lion, Donald. Like, how does this work, man?
I would like to know, actually.
It's all glamour. It doesn't really...
No, because a glamour wouldn't allow you to breathe underwater. I'm sorry. It's not how it works.
Alright, gills I'll give you. But, like, how they, like... I don't know. It's dumb.
So, yeah, mostly the plot does not move forward during the Disney levels. It actually kind of, all the middle of the game is all the Disney levels. You meet some of the Organization 13 members again.
The Organization and then Maleficent and Pete basically come down, taunt you, and then leave.
Yeah.
Without actually talking or revealing any plot.
Well, it made sense. It made sense in the second game because they needed you to kill Heartless in order to form Kingdom Hearts. They don't really give anyone a reason like that in this one. In fact, there's a moment where they're in like Tangled or like in the Tangled world, and Sora's like, "Hey, why are we here again?" Mm-hmm. Even the heroes don't know what exactly their objective is.
No, and like multiple characters throughout the story state, "I'm confused. What's going on?"
Yeah.
Basically, this game is a giant tutorial level until the final battle. The Disney worlds mean nothing to the plot. Literally, Sora's going around training because he got booted back to level 0 and just needs to get this power awakening, which pretty much is just, I believe in myself, and until the final battle, that's all Sora is doing. He's just bopping around with his, like, thumb up his butt.
So yeah, before we go into too many spoilers for the ending here, basically most of the plot stuff happens right after a certain point where King Mickey and Riku are fucking around in the darkness world looking for Aqua, and there's a couple other cutscenes beforehand dealing with Ansem, and Vexen, I think, is there. Like, he has a plot turn that, like, kind of matters, but yet doesn't. And it's just so that every Organization 13 member can have some lines and can come back and show, like, aha, I'm here. And then the third act happens, and at that point I'm like, oh man, this seems like I think I'm at the end here, which was weird because I was only 25 hours in, and I was like, this is a short Kingdom Hearts game, and I was a little nervous about it, but I was like, you know what, it hasn't been awful. Like, I mean, the Disney worlds didn't feel that great, but honestly, if the end like pulls it out here, or if there's a big epic ending, it can really pull it out for me. That does not happen. And for me, it did not happen. For a lot of people, I hear that their favorite part is this ending.
Well, it's the only part that matters.
It's the gauntlet with the Organization.
It's the only part with some difficulty.
Yeah, also, the game is way too fucking easy. Like,
Proud mode was really fucking hard in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
I feel like the default should be Proud mode in this one.
If you play Kingdom Hearts 1, you actually have to try and block and, like, come up with strategies. And
just on normal mode.
Normal mode. You're just pressing X the entire time.
Or triangle. Don't forget triangle.
And triangle, because the attraction attacks are too powerful and happen way too often.
Magic is OP, which it always should be. I'm always a magic guy, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but they even simplified the magic in this one.
They did.
Mm-hmm. The magic is the least complex it's ever been. The combat overall is the least complex it's ever been. The only thing that's varied and very significant are the mini games, and like that's a weird place to put all the eggs in your one basket for the end of one of your fucking franchises.
And can I just say, because you brought up mini games, that the like absolute turning point of me turning on this game and thinking it's terrible is the disrespect they did to Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
I'm there for you, Ed.
They slapped him in his face and spat on him.
Yep.
It's like, you're here because you need to be here. We don't really want you here.
You're here because it would be weird if we had a Kingdom Hearts game without a Winnie the Pooh level, and
I'd rather them just drop Winnie the Pooh than the disrespect.
I would have rather them dropped
to
it too. And you know what? It's weird to talk about disrespecting Pooh, but you know what? Winnie the Pooh deserves better. You know?
Yeah,
Justice for Winnie the Pooh.
The whole plot of Winnie the Pooh world in this is Sora forgot him, and Winnie the Pooh called him out on it, and Sora lied to his face and was like, "No, Pooh, I'm always in your heart." But then inner monologues, "But you know, you're right, I did forget you." End of story. Mm-hmm. Disrespect.
Pooh deserved better.
I know it's hard to write a story for the Winnie the Pooh levels, so if you don't have one, just don't do it.
No, that's bullshit. You know, because you know what? They introduced a new character. They introduced the Heffalump. Why couldn't the story be about meeting the Heffalump and learning friends can come and go and new friends and blah 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 and just something better than
it's actually kind of daytime frolic, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like it's one room with fucking mini games. It's like, wow, really?
Not even mini games, dude. It's one mini game with different like variations to it. It's a like bejeweled bubble pop bullshit combo. Mm-hmm. Can you tell how frustrated I am right now? Because I love Winnie the Pooh. I loved Winnie the Pooh in the first two games. They were great. I don't care what anyone says, especially Kingdom Hearts 2. It was a whole world.
Mm-hmm. And like, it was cool. It was relaxing. It felt like a different part of the world.
Yeah, it's very zen.
Yeah, like it felt like a part of a bigger mythology that a book in one of the worlds could also be its own world. Like, it was levels on levels. It felt kind of like metaphysical. It was neat.
Again, this is the exact same thing happening when I was playing fucking Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm like, man, I really want to go back and play the other games now. I don't want to be sitting here talking about this game. I want to just go play the other two games.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, the gameplay.
I got the other three because I do like Birth by Sleep.
I really liked Chain of Memories. It was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, even rehashing old games like Rechain of Memories, they had a better excuse for going back through other stuff.
Oh yeah, it's like, we're gonna make this a 3D model now.
So yeah, the ending is a big gauntlet with all the Organization 13 members, which is, on one level, I get why people like it because it's a cool lore of like just finishing off storylines from everybody else. But it's also kind of like there's no surprises because there's only two guys we haven't fought in this entire group. Mm-hmm. It doesn't ratchet up the tension when I have previously beaten these people at least a couple times in the previous games. The only people we haven't fought are like some of the Xehanorts. And I say some of the Xehanorts because they have the gall to introduce fucking time travel into this game. So, like, and then that was an early reveal too, like, Ansem went back into time and warned his younger self, and I was like, what? Wait a minute.
That was Dream Drop Distance.
I was like, wait, what? When did that happen? When is time travel a thing in this universe? What the fuck?
Dream Drop Distance.
And then it's like, Ansem was the hooded man in the Kingdom Hearts thing, which I was like, I guess that makes sense, but also takes away a lot of mystery from that first game of like, who is that? What's this dark world? Like, sort of thing. And yeah, so the story was complicated in the previous games. In this game, it's finally to the point where it is impenetrable. It finally falls under its own weight of nonsense and just to the point where they feel like they have to explain stuff all the fucking time. And the pacing of this game sucks because anything vaguely interesting happens at the end and it's way too fast.
Well, honestly, the biggest problem with this game is that it's like, we're going to take every single character you've ever met in any of these games, all 7, 8, 9, 10 of them, and we resolve all of their storylines in the third act. I'm like, what about the first and second act, guys?
Yeah.
What about those two?
Why didn't we spread it out? Or, God forbid, spread it out to other games. Like, maybe we deal with the Birth by Sleep people in their own fucking game.
Like, let's try Birth by Sleep 2, maybe, yeah?
Like, it's just, there's too many fucking characters. There are at least 5 different versions of Xehanort. There's 3 or 4 different versions of Ventus / Sora / Roxas / whoever the fuck we're talking about. And, like, you just realize how,
Heck, there's multiple versions of Terra.
Right. Like, it's...
Hey guys, they did their best to cut down on the list of characters. They got rid of all the Final Fantasy people.
Yeah, there wasn't a single fucking person.
Guess what isn't in this Final Fantasy Disney crossover? Final Fantasy.
Or pussy, for that matter.
There's Moogle. Like, there's a couple Moogles, maybe, and that's about it. Like
the little bits in Toy Story with the Cactar puzzle and having Rex go, I need the guide to beat Bahamut. That was cool.
Well, there was also a Bahamut statue in one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and like the statues of Cloud, Auron, and one other person from the Hercules level with Hades going over his failed plans.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was like no Final Fantasy representation in this game, and that was super upsetting because that was something that drew me to the franchise in general.
Yeah.
Well, something that was kind of cool about it was, like, just 2 things you didn't think would go together, kind of, like, busting together. Like, before,
Although, I will admit, Kingdom Hearts 2 really killed, Final Fantasy X with, the 3 little sprites.
Mm-hmm. Well, the problem is here is that the director of Kingdom Hearts, I forget his name, he is the character designer behind a lot of the Final Fantasy characters, but he's not the writer.
Right.
So even in the other Kingdom Hearts games, the Final Fantasy characters do not act like they do in their other games, because I don't think he played them. So that's why Cloud is kind of emo Cloud in Kingdom Hearts, and all these other characters, like at least from what the little bit I've seen of 10, like those sprites don't really act like what Yuna and
Yuna, Riku, and
Pain. Yeah, like they don't really act like what I remember them acting like, but whatever. Like I don't remember them being fairy godparents or something.
Can I just say, like, the lack of Final Fantasy was angry enough, but it was also, like, funny, because at the end, when everyone is just having a good time, Riku and Kairi's friends from Destiny Islands are nowhere to be seen.
Oh no, we dropped them completely.
They snubbed them hardcore.
Yeah, they're just not there. Also, I hope Sora found his mom.
Yeah, because they had parents.
They did have parents in the first one. I'm for sure they had parents. But, like...
They get snubbed so hard. Who cares? We got Disney.
So there's other stuff that is simultaneously not explained enough and over-explained. Like, what I don't understand here is why... Like, I suppose we should talk about the utter failure of a character that is Kairi.
You mean the character that wasn't in this game?
You mean White Cardboard?
She has no personality. Like, even more so than in the previous games. She does
I love how
nothing.
People loved Kairi from, like, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and they were really hoping she'd be useful in 3.
I'm so sorry for all of you.
Yeah, sorry. Like, that would be... Look, and I know they would never do this, but why are we not playing as Kairi in Kingdom Hearts 3?
No, why don't we have 3 separate storylines like they've done in multiple games before this?
Dude, they keep mentioning her and Lee or Axel or whatever the fuck his name is now training as to be Keyblade Masters. Why is that not the tutorial? Or, let's talk about this way, maybe Sora is trapped again some other place from one of the previous games, and we have to go save him, and Kairi has to step up and be a new hero. So we have a new hero's journey rather than watching Sora do the same shit over and over again.
Guys, we can't do that, because we need Kairi to get kidnapped at the end.
Oh my god!
Because that's all she's good for.
Because God forbid she wields a Keyblade and a vagina at the same time. Like, this is bullshit.
Shion does it. She's doing just fine.
And then, of course...
And she looks like Kairi.
And
because she's Sora's memories of Kairi.
Yeah.
Not to mention it worse, because Sora's memories of Kairi is a cooler version of Kairi.
Right.
Not to mention, Aqua get brought back just so that you can play as her to win a fight that she then loses.
Oh yeah, I don't want to be the loser. I don't want to be rescued. Oh, I'm getting rescued.
Oh man, if it wasn't my time of the month or something, man, I don't mean to harp on this for the Kingdom Hearts game, 'cause, like, they've always been a little bit sexist or whatever, but this game was like, hey, can the female characters get anything significant to do? Like, Kari's whole point at the end is to support a man. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I believed in you. That was my contributing goal. Oh, good also, for fucking you.
No, when she, like, fades away, spoiler or whatever, like, when Ansem captures her, or whichever one captures her, she just goes into a waiting room with Princess Peach and Zelda.
So
can I just say, though, before the final battle, how quick Kari was to shove that Papu fruit down Sora's throat. She's like, I know I'm not going to make it, so I need to tie you down right now.
I thought, like, even those moments that they're too fast, they should be going more in, like, I don't know. Here, we're going to go into full-on spoilers for this to talk about the ending, but before we do that, I'm just going to give my overall, like, feelings and what I feel about the game. It's a huge disappointment, I gotta say, guys. Like, it's the shortest, least complex, least depth, most confusing, and just most frustrating Kingdom Hearts experience that I have had, even considering some of the other mobile games, like or the other handheld games. Yeah. Like it's just disappointing because the story gets so up its own ass with its own Kingdom Hearts characters, and I feel like that's the director's fault too, is that he just doesn't give a shit about the Disney worlds, the Final Fantasy at all. Like he all he cares about is this stupid lore that Kingdom Hearts has built up, and I have no connection with it anymore. I feel nothing about it. I'm gonna have to give this game a 2 out of 5 just because it still plays well. Like, it's still, like, the gameplay of it still flows right, even though it's way too fucking easy. But overall, like, it's by far, we waited the longest time for the weakest Kingdom Hearts experience I have ever sat through, unfortunately. Travis, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things wrong with this. The fact that I think some of this has a lot to do with Stockholm Syndrome. The fact that we got so into it, that the fact that, like, no Kingdom Hearts game, I want it. And there was always just enough time that, like, we didn't have to think long enough about them that we just wanted the next one. But, guys, Birth by Sleep came out in 2010.
Yeah.
And we've only had, Dream Drop Distance since then, and that one was, like, basically just a prelude to this and still wasn't important because it basically only introduced time travel and the Trial of Mastery, which, again, didn't actually matter to this game at all. 9 years is way too fucking long.
They nerfed Sora at the end.
Yeah, so it basically did not matter at all.
Which, again, is a thing you don't have to do if Kairi's the main protagonist, but fine. And
this game is structured like shit. It does not follow 3-act structure. It's basically just... I got done with the fucking Big Hero 6 world. I'm like, oh my god, this is the final level. That means I'm almost done. Well, I can probably beat this then. I'll just go and beat it now. I'll spend, like, the next couple hours and just beat it. 6 fucking hours later. And I was like, god damn. I was gonna starve myself trying to fucking beat this because I was so fucking hungry.
4 of those hours, I want to say, are cutscenes.
Yeah, that's probably true. This game's ridiculous, and in not any of the good ways. I don't even know how to rate this, to be honest. It's just a disappointment.
Ed, what do you feel?
Alright, so when I first played this, I was really enjoying it. I was living the hype. But then Frozen made me mad when they gave you the actual Disney songs in it, which I would have been fine with in any other way. I loved the Atlantis musicals in Kingdom Hearts 2, but it pissed me off for Frozen, because fuck Frozen. They disrespected Pooh. Boat battles suck. The game is short. The gauntlet was fun, but they just kind of, like, ham-fisted everything and gave everyone their, like, happy endings at the end. Like, check off the list. The final boss battle itself was super anticlimactic. I was really, like, overall let down, even though I had a lot of fun. And I'm going back to, like, collect treasures and lucky emblems, because that's who I am. And I'm still having fun just mindlessly pressing X and treasure hunting. But, like, I would have been a lot angry at this game, and I still am angry at this game. But the secret ending movie, it fucking got me.
Yeah.
And the insinuations and potential of what's coming down, either as DLC or a new game, I'm about it, because I've love Kingdom Hearts. I say with apprehension and some reservation, hesitation. I love it, but it's I don't want to call it trash, but it's really not
the
great
writing isn't
anymore.
Trash.
But I'm gonna stick with it. I'm into the franchise. I'm gonna go back and play Dream Drop Distance. I'm gonna go maybe play through the mobile game. It's free. I don't know, but like, I'm invested, and I'm hoping it'll be better because, again, the implications of what the secret ending provided, I'm into that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm giving this like a 7.9 out of 10.
That's a good score, dude.
That's a really fucking good score.
I know.
How much of that is from the secret ending? How many points did it get?
Probably like 2.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, I'm glad you can remain objective, Ed.
I'm super like objective about it, but like I'm objective of my like non-objectiveness to this game and franchise.
Would you say it's the worst Kingdom Hearts game?
But it's dumb, and it's.
Would you say it's the worst Kingdom Hearts game so far?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think we all agree on that.
It's pretty. It is so gorgeous. The worlds are huge and like
empty.
Are so huge and like open, and
empty.
It's fun just flying around killing stuff. And when you beat the game and go back, you can do the boss fights again, which is a nice feature. And like they do like up the like difficulty in them, so it still has fun potential in it. But right now, I'm just kind of trying to defend my lover, who's probably hit me like too many times, but it's okay because they love me.
Well, maybe next time.
They tell me they love me.
Next time, maybe it won't hurt you.
I hope not, because again, the potential, oh my god.
All right.
Touch of them pearls.
So here, we're going to go into the spoiler section for some of this final stuff here. I just want to talk about like some of the stuff that really doesn't make sense to me and that really pissed me off. So if you haven't played Kingdom Hearts yet, you can go forth, get out of here, and go for it. And also check us out on iTunes, Stitcher. Subscribe. Check out Ed's podcast, the Otabros podcast. I got that right,
and
Ed?
Also Animania podcast.
And a what?
Animania.
Animania. That sounds cool.
It's another anime podcast because I'm a one-trick pony.
You got it.
But it's fun.
So. Yeah, here we go. So, the Kingdom Hearts cutscenes have always been pretty bad to me. Well,
it's the fact that eventually your controller turns off.
Yeah, well, their pacing has always been, like, bad. The dialogue is stilted. Like, they don't talk like any regular humans talk. Like, they talk like, Hercules, I didn't know you were gonna be here. Beat, beat, beat. Sora, what's going on? Like, they pause way too much in between their talking. And I know it's because of the Japanese version that they have to match up the dubs between both of them. Like, that's probably why it's happening. But still...
Definitely why that's happening.
But it's still so stilted and feels so fucking weird. Especially with some of the voice actors. Like, this might be the worst voice-acted Kingdom Hearts game I've ever seen. Which is saying something because some of the other games are pretty bad.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Hercules, I think they got the original voice actor, but he sucks. His line delivery is terrible, and I know it's got to be like he didn't have a whole lot of direction going into it or whatever, but still, it's cold, it's fucking staccato, it's awful, and the fake voice actors for Johnny Depp and all the Pirates of the Caribbean characters do a lot better job than any of the actual voice actors they get back. The problem with the gauntlet here is that for me, especially was playing on standard mode, was that I'd fight, the gauntlet of 3 organization members in a couple rooms for like at least a couple minutes until I defeated one, and then I'd get treated to a 5-minute cutscene. While
the other ones are just taking
just
break.
waiting or whatever. And no, you don't get to play as Aqua or Ventus or Kairi.
You play as Aqua for a little bit.
You play as Aqua for when you're fighting Vanitas, only to get defeated again.
And have a man come save you.
And have another dude come save you, even though that's not what she wanted to do, because apparently Aqua's a bitch.
She's the only one who passed her master test, and she ate like the most shit out of all of them.
Well, that's what's weird, because when I play as her, I remember this as Birth by Sleep too, is that, wow, she's like the mage amongst them, and she's awesome. Mm-hmm. Like, she can move, and like her abilities mixed with her magic, and how mobile she is, are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
When she's cartwheeling, she's invinkable.
In the cutscenes,
like, if you're in trouble, you just keep cartwheeling your heart out, and you will win.
In the cutscenes, she's the weakest member of the team, other than Kairi. Like,
yeah, because at least she gets to fight, unlike Kairi.
In fact, almost everybody in this game are all bitches except for Sora. Like, Sora needs to come in and defeat everybody. No one can defeat their own villain at all.
Riku can on occasion,
but
just
like, except for when he gets doused by a Heartless tornado that's made up of just little shadow Heartless.
To the point, having an off day.
To the point where in the Keyblade graveyard, before we even fight the organization members, everybody dies.
Yeah.
And then Sora has to get brought back via Kairi's belief in him.
Oh, real quick side note, during the fight in the Keyblade graveyard, when you were the giant section with the like mash triangle, do you know what that was?
That was usernames from the mobile game, right?
Yes, it was.
Go rotten hell.
I figured that because of how weird the names were.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I believe that was some type of leaderboard that if they were just going to be included somewhere, and I knew it was coming because they did like disclose that before the game released, and when that happened, that made me laugh. Like, I'm there like smashing triangle during this epic boss fight, and I can't help but laugh because it's like, this is all the mobile users.
Yeah, that was fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That person he sees in the Flash, he's also from the mobile game, and he's important and might be in the future games.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, who in the fuck is that? There's a lot of points in this ending where I'm like, who is that, and why are they here, and also how can they do that thing that they're doing? Like,
they're all child soldiers in the Keyblade Wars.
Well,
every one of those Keyblades were held by child soldiers.
Mm-hmm. No, I get that. Dark, I got it. So yeah, we didn't even mention that the time travel, it doesn't even just affect just Xehanort. Apparently, he time traveled back to get a lot of the organization members again, even though some of them have reformed as actual people, but some of them are still nobodies.
Right.
They're called somebodies.
What? Is that...
Yeah, that's true. Fuck. When a nobody and a heartless both get destroyed and get reunited, they become somebodies.
Okay.
Wait. And did you guys catch how they always could follow Sora in Kingdom Hearts 2? It was because he had an X on his clothes.
Huh?
The whole X in all the organization 13 people's name isn't just a random X. It's some type of sigil that wherever that sigil is, I guess Xehanort somebody can track it. And in Kingdom Hearts 2, we have like a giant X on Sora's clothes, and that was how they always knew where he was.
So the fairy godparents that gave him our clothes, they're inside spies?
Or they didn't know.
And just drew an X on accident?
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, like, how would you know, like, oh, there's an X. Obviously, we're being spied on then.
They're fashion the letter X. X's are cool.
Is this kind of fucking Sesame Street bullshit? What is this?
Well, also, there's the Keyblade spelt with an X that Xehanort keeps talking about. Mm. So, yeah, they time travel back to get a Ansem-possessed Riku, Ansem himself, Xemnas, who still doesn't feel, even though he should be a somebody, according to Ed here. But...
Yep.
Even Xemnas has a moment at the end here where he finally feels something, and he feels alone because all of his other men have died. And I'm like, wow, that's some really cool stuff that should have been in Kingdom Hearts 2. Mm-hmm. That would have been a really cool ending for his character.
Well, let's not even forget, too, the fact that we get Ansem fighting us, the original Ansem, and then find out that the shadow we have from Kingdom Hearts 1 is actually Terra, along with Terra's...
That was a cool moment.
Huh?
That was a cool moment.
No, it wasn't. It was dumb.
When Terra
because Terra's armor is also there fighting.
His mouth bandages and spoke.
Okay, we gotta break this down. Alright, so they all die because of possessed Terra kicking the shit out of people and then Heartless attacking them. And then we get dropped back
Except for Donald, who just casts a spell and then
Zeta Flare
dies.
and then dies. Because, well, Goofy died in the last one, or Pretend died.
Which was epic.
And then it's like, what's it? We get, Sora has to find himself and then get brought back. There's another character, he finds Naminé. There's, what's it? They come back to the point where Dark Terra is fighting them again, and you're like, okay, Sora knows what to do now since he knows Terra's about to come at him. And then for no reason at all, Terra's armor from Birth by Sleep just shows up, and it's like, huh? Because I'm like, wait a minute, how is he there?
Also, why do they have to time travel then?
Also, did his Keyblade always have stretchy powers? Like, there's a lot of questions that I have. But, Naminé did say when she was like, oh, I think I feel the connection with Terra and his body. We might be able to use that. And I'm like, okay, so maybe that's what she's doing now, manipulating the connection, and that's what the armor is doing.
Sure.
Is trying to get back to his own body, up until later, where a Heartless comes out of nowhere to fight him, and that's Terra. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to the armor? Also, why does going back in the past change that, event to that thing? What the fuck is happening? Also,
King-Dunb Hearts!
Also, just from a writing perspective, all of them dying should happen after we defeat the organization members. Just because it leads a lot of tension if all of our guys die as soon as we get to the final thing, and then they get brought back to life. Feels like there's just not a lot of consequences to our actions.
Right, like, they're not gonna die again, except for Kairi, because she's a woman.
Mm-hmm. And there's even some, I won't lie, there's some fun stuff in the gauntlet of, resolving a lot of these plot lines and stuff. But even then, it's really barely there. Vanitas and Roxas show up, or Ventus and Roxas meet each other at one point, and are like, huh, we look alike, that's weird. And that's it.
Yeah.
Also,
fun fact, Roxas was also one of the original Keyblades people from the Keyblade War.
What?
Yeah.
Ed, I need you to stop talking about stuff. I realize we brought you on here to talk about Kingdom Hearts, but I regret that decision.
This is factual.
Stop talking about this stupid mobile game to me. I swear to God, Ed.
It's important.
Apparently it is. I did not realize how important it is.
I feel like there should be a disclaimer at the front of Kingdom Hearts 3 then. If you haven't played the mobile game, please do so. Or just don't buy this.
Yeah, so we fight the final Organization 13 members, even though there's more than 13 of them.
There's 20 by now.
Because some of them have come back and are now nobodies, but not nobodies. They still have their powers, but some of them are betraying the team, some of them for what seems like no reason, some for legitimately no reason. And the final, battle...
Well, Nick, you know what this is, right? Mm-hmm. The mobile game.
Yeah. And then we fight all the different versions of Xehanort, which, I didn't even know why there's a stupid young version of Xehanort that's not possessed Terra. That seems fucking confusing and also just pointless. And then just to fight Ultimate Xehanort, who is the guy orchestrating this whole fight.
Which is by far the worst fight in this game, because his biggest strength is the fucking camera. It felt like Kingdom Hearts 1 all over again.
Look, Xehanort is the most boring villain in Kingdom Hearts. And I say that, and he's a more boring version of Xemnas, who is more boring Ansem. The Russian nesting doll of boring, villainous bad guys has gotten to the point where Xehanort is just a more confusing version of Thanos, of trying to wipe out the world and start over again. And that's his motivation at the end here. That's our big reveal of I want to summon Kingdom Hearts, because every other game we summon Kingdom Hearts, and I'm gonna wipe the slate clean and start over and rule the world this time. And it's what a generic fucking motivation. Mm-hmm. Who gives a shit? And so what I realized during this is that there's a point where he has control over the Organization 13 members because they're vessels, and we fight them with their hoods on, and I was like, that's what we should have done the entire game.
Yeah.
Was that the Organization members are controlled by Xehanort, and they are begging for us to help them. Like, wouldn't that be kind of a dark, awesome twist? Is that Xemnas is like, please, I feel now, and all I feel is despair. Please free me from this. Maybe some of them are pissed at Sora, blame him for their current condition. Maybe.
Hey, real quick, sorry. Really enjoy this, but I actually have to go right now.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Not a problem. All right, Ed. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ed. Would you like to tell the people where they can find you online and stuff before you take off?
Yep, Twitch TV / the Otabros, Tuesdays at 8:30 Eastern, and Animania, I believe, comes out every other week. Bad on that, but I'll be on those.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Ed. We'll talk to you later,
Thanks,
right?
Yeah, definitely talk later. This was fun. I have more to say, but my gummy phone is calling.
Gotcha.
So, I'll bid you guys adieu.
See you later.
Later, Ed. All right, well, since Ed is gone, we'll just wrap it up here.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to rant 10
Well,
more
I also
hours?
wanted to mention, because those are just my easy fixes for the game that wouldn't make it significantly better. Like, it'd still be kind of a mess, but it would be better. Also, I would split up, finding Aqua and then Ventus. I would have them be different of the Disney worlds.
You mean actually have a first and second act?
Yeah, like that's like stuff that is super simple that probably would not have taken a long time in the writing process of this thing. The game feels weird because it feels simultaneously lazy and overcomplicated. Like they work too hard at certain things,
like rushed and somehow like.
Well, that's all. Like the 6 hour ending finale feels simultaneously rushed, but yet again, it feels like the longest thing in the world. Like, how does that happen? How does it go? These things are going way too fast for me to emotionally connect with it, but also I'm begging for it to end already because it's so fucking long. But here's my idea for a thing that's not an easy fix. That would be a big overhaul. So Xehanort and the organization, the team members, they want to destroy existence. They are now not darkness, not light. They're a neutral thing, and they want like a new starting place with like where light and darkness don't exist or something. That would be the premise of the story, and that would allow you to team up with people's hearts that can now be reclaimed because Xehanort's got the organization members, so you can get people's hearts too. But who do you get? You get the Disney villains.
Okay.
The Disney villains have to team up in order to even exist anymore. Like, okay, even our bare form of existence is better than not existing at all. And guess what? They team up with you now, or they're your summons. Like you can just summon like the heart of Captain Hook or Scar from Lion King. Like and then that way we can redo some of the worlds, but have a fresh take on it. Like instead of doing Aladdin's world with Aladdin and them, we do it with Jafar. Ooh, fuck it. Have Aladdin and them being possessed, and we have to team up with Jafar to defeat the Sultan and all their stuff. Like we can redo the other games, but from the opposite end of the spectrum. Like, and of course that would be my most complex solution of taking a fresh take. Like that would take a whole overhaul. Like that would be, in fact, that's an idea they can use for one of the next games too. Like if we want to do it, but like since Sora is done and all them stuff, like maybe someone else does it, but we do it from kind of not unlike what they did with Terra, where he's kind of working for the bad guys in Birth by Sleep because he's kind of an idiot.
Because he's kind of dumb.
But like, yeah, fully commit to it. So where, because the Disney things, that was what was cool about Kingdom Hearts 1 is that what's our strongest thing? Okay, what's big part of the plot? Okay, the Disney princesses. That's our big model. That's our light, the 7 lights. But also, what's our big antagonist? What's our conflict? Oh, everyone loves the Disney villains. That's our big Illuminati villains that are fighting the entire time.
Right.
And then all the other Kingdom Hearts shit is like right near the end, where like the anthem and stuff, like most of that doesn't even matter. So I would take it back to there, to where it's really like Disney is trying to fight the Kingdom Hearts characters to survive, for their existence. And you team up with these previous villains. Like, that would be fucking cool.
And don't forget some Final Fantasy villains.
Right. And then, maybe even the Final Fantasy characters are either part of Xehanort's crew, like it's Final Fantasy versus Disney, or maybe they're part of the Resistance as well. It's just the Kingdom Hearts characters versus Final Fantasy and Disney for supremacy or whatever. And yeah, like use Xehanort's ability has his vessels to control some of our previously favorite characters. Maybe bring Axel back as a good guy because he was a popular character, or bring him back as a bad guy that's being controlled and we have to save him or whatever. There's so many things that you can do pretty much the same thing they did here, but in a more interesting way.
I mean, low bar.
Like, like that was just this, like off the top of my head, that was just stuff that's like, even like the other stuff I was mentioning before is just like they should have done it to begin with. That's easy storytelling stuff that should not have been ignored in this game, and I don't know why it was. The villains thing was kind of a pie in the sky. Like, what would I have done to
What's
make
your dream?
Yeah, what's my dream Kingdom Hearts game? Like that's the only thing we really haven't done yet is team up with some of the bad guys. That's kind of cool. And yeah, I don't know. Do you have any theories or like things that you would want?
Well, like I said, my main thing would be why didn't they split the story between 3 different people?
Right.
It seems like it's worked before. Worked fine in Birth by Sleep. Worked fine.
You even play as Riku and Aqua at certain points, but only for like 2 to 3 missions.
So I don't know why that's not just a thing we do of just like, yeah, here we have Sora's one part of the story, and then Axel and Kairi are another.
Well, I don't think changing Kairi to the main character would have been that big a change in the narrative either.
Honestly,
because honestly, of course, you'd have to change the writing all from the ground, but it would add a necessary like, okay, Kairi, you're not nearly experienced enough to go and fight the final battle yet, so you need to go to these worlds and get you get your power up and learn and get experience.
Yeah, we could just say like, oh yeah, Sora and Riku are off doing their final mastery, or they're getting
or you got to go and get the power of waking because it turns out we need to wake up Sora and Riku and them. We need you and Axel, like, and to do this thing, and then like she has to team up with Donald and Goofy and learn to be a hero and have her go through her hero's journey because Sora just is not interesting very much anymore.
Or fuck, you know what? Because like this game needs more pussy. Let's face it. Like have her team up with Daisy and
look, dude,
Minnie.
I was just thinking that like. Wouldn't it be, because I know they would never do this too, because Donald and Goofy are too much of an integral part of the Kingdom Hearts story.
Right.
But wouldn't it be fucking rad if Mickey, or if Minnie Mouse and Daisy Duck got in on this shit?
That would be awesome.
And there was a whole game where it was Kairi, Minnie Mouse, and Daisy doing their own thing, own adventure, and fucking shit up.
Find out that Daisy doesn't actually use magic like Donald. She pulls like a great sword.
Yeah, like awesome. Daisy's a warrior, fucking Minnie's the wizard or something.
No, Minnie's an assassin.
Or Minnie's a rogue. Just there's so much stuff that you can do.
I want to see Double Dagger Minnie.
Double Dagger Minnie. No, just give her Keyblades. We're giving everyone Keyblades by the end of this anyway. And yeah, like just this, it's overall disappointing, man. I don't know what else to say.
Like I said, I want to go play Kingdom Hearts now.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Why don't we go do that?
Let's go do that.
In the meantime, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for following along and putting up with our bitching about Kingdom Hearts.
And the fucking advertisement for the mobile game.
Yes, jeez. Okay, we're gonna go and try and play that and maybe try and figure out this fucking story.
No, fuck that.
We didn't even talk about the secret ending and how stupid it was. Sorry, Ed. That shit is bullshit. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Until next week, we are Unapologists, and we're out.